if you're not okay with where you are, then what's going wrong? Powerful question. Welcome to Matt's Streams. We're continuing with Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening Special Edition. Last stream I said that was the first edition that was released, or at least that was the one that I got, and I got it when the game was released, basically. Like that Christmas or birthday time, anyway, probably. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, it is Special Edition at the end of all that. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening, Special Edition, except it's hilarious because it's not a Special Edition, because that's literally every edition, I think, to the point where even in the trilogy where they remaster the games, they still call it Special Edition. The same one. There's nothing special about it in the sense that it is the only one, as far as I know. Maybe it's not, but I think it might be, which is just hilarious. That's like Super Castlevania 4. It's the super version of Castlevania 4, except it's the only one. Or is it the Super Nintendo version of Castlevania 4, except Castlevania 4 was only on the Super Nintendo, at least at the time. And it's still called Super Castlevania 4 wherever it is. Which is usually actually on Nintendo-related things, I think. Hence it being on the Super Nintendo Mini, and probably the Nintendo eStore or whatever, if you have that. Anyway, Super Castlevania 4. Like, if they called it Castlevania 4, it'd be like, alright, this is the fourth Castlevania. If they called it Super Castlevania 4, it sounds like it's either the fourth Super Castlevania, or it's a super version of the fourth Castlevania, which it's not, it's just the version, or it's Castlevania 4 released specifically on the Super Nintendo, except it was only released on the Super Nintendo, so that would be redundant. But I think that is what it is, though. Like, the reason they did that is because I think they would often release Super Nintendo games with Super in the front of the title, sort of to just go, not even necessarily maybe to denote that it's a Super Nintendo game, although perhaps, think about it this way, I think new systems, I've seen like video game documentaries, maybe the Never Knows Best one, where it's like the entire history of video games. I think he might have even said that like new systems were kind of uncommon back then, so parents would be like, why are we buying you a new Nintendo? You already have the Nintendo. And so they named the games Super with Super in the title, perhaps as an extra indication to customers that this is all a super version, and in some way, like, with connotations of this actually is way better, but perhaps also just simply to say this is on the Super Nintendo. But perhaps to indicate that and to indicate to parents, like, hey, you see all these super games, your kid's not going to be able to play those on his regular Nintendo, so, like, to sort of advertise to them just with the word. In which case, Super Castlevania 4 and all the other Super games, perhaps, unless it's not related to that, kind of makes sense in that way. So. Oh, this is a fun fight, man. This is super fun. At first, it seemed like it was going to be a bother with them moving, like, on the chessboard slowly forward. But it's actually a brilliant use of these enemies. And we've seen at least a couple of these ones and the horse ones at least. We've seen those enemy types before. And also these tower ones. I think they do the electricity, or the lasers out of their corners. But we've seen these enemies before. And yet, now we're actually seeing them as on a chessboard. And so now it's actually like, oh yeah, shit, those weren't just statues, those were chess pieces. And I'm just realizing that now. So, like, you might actually be realizing it, or at the very least, even if you thought of them that way before, it's kind of a fun, like, oh wow, I didn't expect them to actually see them on a chessboard, and I'm with them on that board, life-size board, fighting like it's Harry Potter. Like, that's pretty cool. Let's try that air raid. Did I end up not buying it? How do we do air raid? I tried it before, but it seemed like it was just the jump and triangle attack. Do we have it? Yeah, okay. So how do we do it? Press R1 and X in midair. What's it supposed to do? Really? That is the fucking... What? Oh, R1 and X. Okay. Okay, is that just floating? I've been pressing triangle. Is that just floating or what? Ah, I didn't get to do it in time. Okay, we might die, but we'll just start back. Probably at, like, this part. We're probably gonna die. Yeah. I didn't even really try. When you're that low health, often it feels like it's such... Like, it could be really exciting to try to win the battle. If you approach it that way. Sort of like the Bruce Springsteen versus somebody else, Tony Robbins' example of going out on stage, and Bruce Springsteen is like the first person needed help or whatever. She's like, you know, when I go out on stage, I feel really tense and my heart starts beating and I kind of start breathing fast and, like, you know, and that's how I know I'm having a panic attack and I can't perform. And then Bruce Springsteen was like, when I go on stage, my heart starts beating and I start breathing fast. That's how I know that, you know, like something else, whatever. I don't know if those were the exact things, but like, that's how I know that I'm ready, you know, for a good performance. And so if your health is really low, part of it might be like, you know, if you approach it in a way of like, let's see if we can even beat this battle, depending on how well you do anyway, it might grow into like a really fun, like, yeah, we're actually doing it. We're beating the odds right now. Or you might look at it and you might be like, man, this is going to be a stressful battle, and I probably will die pretty soon. I don't feel confident in this battle right now, so I probably will get hit. And do I want to fuck with figuring out, like, what items I have, and then maybe doing Devil Trigger and hoping that heals me, like, even a little bit? And then do I want to try Air Raid while I'm doing that, maybe, if you think more about it? And it's like, oh, that... I'd rather just start with higher health. You know, you can approach it in one way or the other, and sort of in a James True fashion kind of way, actually. It sort of is like how much energy you're about to put into it. And maybe if you bring more energy to it, it might, like, if you basically approach it with more power, maybe you're going to have more of the first thing. But if you feel like low energy or something, or you feel kind of fatigued or like whatever, then maybe your hurts, as he puts it, like your level of hurts, it's like, okay, well then maybe you don't want to do that, and maybe you just kind of die right away. But if you just died right away, otherwise what? You're just going to let yourself die, or you're going to restart. So that would be the same, except you're just having it happen sooner. Alright guys, let's proceed. We'll retry and do well. Oh, first though, okay, yeah, we're gonna try air hike. Check the end of the last stream. The way all these rocks floated together the first time we approached that, oh, it was beautiful. With this music and all like the white, like beautiful, like glowing, but still kind of dingy and dirty background. But more the emphasis on the beauty of it, because most of the game feels kind of dingy and dirty. I think most of the beauty here is the actual sort of spectral astral beauty of it all. Oh, and look at that. See, it looks like sort of a shattered mirror with shards, but then you go closer and it's kind of wavering and, you know, shimmering and steaming. But then you coiling and stuff. But then you go closer to it, you go further, and it's like, oh wait, it's not a shattered mirror, it's a chessboard. Ha! And there's the eye right behind it, looking right down, kind of at you, kind of at the chessboard. Very, very high symbolism going on here. You got like the all-seeing eye looking down at like the Masonic chessboard. Here you are as like sort of the Antichrist, and you're standing in like a very dingy room, but because it's really lit up with white, it just all looks so beautiful and pristine. And you're like half demon, half angel. or half Damon, half angel. Matt Damon, you know, there's another word for demon, it's Damon. And I'm not saying that as a Matt Damon joke, I'm saying that as an actual assertion. But, and not about Matt Damon, I mean the specific word. And if you go on a web page, it'll be a D-A-E-M-O-N, a daemon associated with the websites. And then, of course, in the Demonologist, they say that when a demon tries to take a human form, there will be like I think he says like there will always be, or often, but I think he says always. Like they can't quite do it, so there will be distortion in like usually either the face or the hands, where it might otherwise look like a real person, but something about it looks off. And what do you get with the domain of the daemons, actually, the domain of the daemon online, the internet? What do you get? But when they do AI art, or you can access it online. I don't know if it has to be made online. I guess it's on some computer somewhere, maybe. But when you do, like the program is or whatever, but when you do AI art, they don't, when they make a picture of a person, there's usually something fucked up, at least in like lesser AI art programs, specifically with the face or the hands. And so you've got daemons online, and yet when AI art makes images of people, when it tries to make an image of a person by itself, it looks similar to how the demonologist guy in all those The Conjuring movies described it, when a demon tries and fails to look like a person. And demon is the same word used in online, except they add the A to it in a slightly different form. So you got a lot of stuff here. You got a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So, yeah, we're about ready to do that battle. And a lot of these, I think, don't activate until you hit them. But I think over time, they kind of start. But let's just hit these ones. And you also can't... Fuck. Man, that one... Oh, yeah. Let's try it. Okay, now can I... Oh, wait a second. Oh, how... I do it like that. Okay. I was forgetting how to do air raid. Hold on. Let's get our devil trigger back up. And yes, devil trigger. Okay, we basically got it. Do we? Not quite yet. Look at this. Look at how fucking hardcore we look just walking. And I took them all the way out, too. Over time. Crazy. How badass is that? And as Josh Strife Hayes pointed out, not easy to see in this room, maybe. And I don't know if the third game does this. But at least the first game, when you shot a bullet, literally every single time it fired, one of the guns fired, and it's a lot, a shell would come out of the gun and drop on the ground, and you can hear that sound effect too, as well as the gunshot, like after the fact. That's how fucking cool this game is. I don't know if I ever noticed that until watching that Josh Strife Hayes video. There's a reason I put him as like my #1 video game YouTuber. He's really good. Okay, now we got air. Let's try it. Okay. Yes, this is it. This is the air raid I'm talking about. This is it. This is exactly it. Okay, good. We got air raid. All right. And we just don't use the... Maybe we just don't use the sword otherwise. Oh, wait. You know, or the guitar. We can do this stinger attack now, so that's something. It doesn't even... Like, it still has a projectile. I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Or if it was just looked so similar to all the other guitar attacks. Because they all look and feel so similar and so stuck in place. Like, I don't know. And they feel kind of slow and kind of like you're not doing them right. Maybe if once I got more comfortable using that weapon, it'd be more fun. I'd like to. It's a badass weapon for Dante if it works well. Like, or it seems like it would be if you learn how to use it. Alright, here we go. And now you see the power of air raid. Oh, fuck. Well, it was shooting someone who couldn't be damaged. Darn it. Darn it. Oh, am I still on air raid? Oh, I was. Shit. Oh, man, but that guitar otherwise is kind of a downer. Really. Something today, it feels like my R1 button or just the game's targeting. One of those two, it feels like it's not very responsive. Or maybe just visually I get, you know, I feel like my R1 button has a bit of a pushback to it now. Or like it's not going in like smoothly. I don't know. Is there anything sadder than a controller breaking down? That was a pretty good controller. And it doing so because you kind of didn't take good care of it and dropped it a few times and basically just dropped it many times. I'll tell you what though, I've dropped my Mac laptop. Not very far, like don't try it. But there have been times where it's fallen and like, it's like, and it's like fine. You know, but I'm not saying do it all the time. I've done that a lot fewer times, I think, than I've dropped this controller. And I've had the Mac probably like twice as, actually, I think like 3 times as long as I've had this controller. If not slightly more than 3 times as long. Like, greater or lesser than 3 times as long, I've had that Mac. So I haven't dropped it that much, but shit. Air raid. Oh, fuck, dude. Air raid, I think it's like harder to activate in this game. I don't know what it is. I kind of want to go back to play the first game and see if air raid is harder to activate in this one. It feels like there's an extra step and I'm just kind of skipping it, but like if I skip it, then I don't get to do it. Like for example, basically, I think I used to just be able to jump up holding R1 and then press square right away. But you have to jump up, hold R1, press X in the air, and then press square. And I gotta tell you, that extra press of X before you just start hitting square to do the air raid attack, because the attack to me anyway is that attack. I guess you can do the spin attack and you can fly around, so I guess it really is like air raid is all of that. But to me, air raid, the reason I like it and what I use it for is specifically that attack. So to me, the attack is hold R1 when you're in the air and press square. But if you have to hold R1 when you're in the air and then press X when you're in the air, while you're in the air, or while you're in the air, and then press square, and like you're already falling when you press X, and then it's taking time and your devil trigger goes pretty fast, so like you have to press X, and my X isn't that responsive either on this controller, I think, anymore, and so that's not that responsive, and then you start pressing square, but then you moved your finger to X, your thumb to X, your right thumb to X, and then you moved it to square, and in that space of time, and also thinking about it a little bit because you're not like used to it, I think that might be like where I could make the most improvement with it, like, or that might be where most of the delay is, like thinking about it. But still, either way, there is a little delay, even if I haven't used it enough to sort of like say, okay, like I know what to do, I have it on instinct now, and it feels pretty fast. Right now, it feels like you waste like basically half your devil trigger, just getting to the point where you can blast them with the purple thunderbolts from the air. Okay, let's go. Try it again. And you can see the sort of, I guess you could say the evil eye or the all-seeing eye he's sort of like coming, you can see him through the broken ceiling, and the ceiling is broken sort of where he is. It would be he'd be partially overlapped by that circle, which you could look at as sun symbolism, especially with those columns that almost look like sun rays, and it's kind of curving as if it's going to go in a circle. A large one, though. Anyway, and so it's sort of like the facade of the sun god, and what's really looking through behind it, which is the evil, all-seeing eye, which is the evil eye. Very cool stuff. Very cool. Very symbolic. I don't know. I'm not saying that everyone making these games was thinking about all these things when they made them, but the symbolism is like actual symbolism that you see in many, many, many things over a long period of time. And many official things, quote-unquote, even. So that symbolism is there on a lot of shit, like sun symbolism in Catholic regalia and all sorts of stuff. Plus, the 12 apostles circulating around the sun of God, you know, the 12 zodiac signs, or like the 12 planets, quote-unquote, or celestial objects circling around the sun, maybe, or I'm not, in any case, the 12 zodiac signs around the sun. And, you know, basically, like, these are in so many things that if it's appearing in a game that's already devil-themed and kind of occult feeling and stuff, occult sounding, and has all sorts of names like Dante and Virgil and all sorts of shit that sounds kind of related to occult or devil-like things, then perhaps some of that symbolism is actually there in a meaningful way. And even if it wasn't intentionally put there, you could call it a synchromystical occurrence that it is there because it just fits along with everything so beautifully. So yeah. And they're moving like chess pieces. That's the rook. The knights... Maybe the knights are actually moving in the chess formation. Yeah, look. And this... Oh, this one is like the queen, I think. Yeah, look, that's the fucking probably snake queen, right? And she can go diagonally and forward and backward. And this is the king, and he just moves like one... He moves kind of slowly, I think. Oh, no. Well, he can sort of zip in and out. Maybe he zips in and out with the rooks. How fucking cool would that be? Yeah, look. He castles with the fucking rooks. That king castles with the fucking rooks, which are square or kind of towerishly shaped. Or more like triangularly, I guess, with their lighting patterns. So that king fucking castles with the fucking rooks across this chessboard while you're fighting them all. How fucking cool is that? And I think most, but not all, or maybe most, if not all, of these enemies we have already seen throughout the game. You know, one after another. We'll see one, then we'll see the next one, and perhaps rising in power level too. I think the most recent one we've seen newly was the Rook. Maybe we haven't seen the King and Queen before. Maybe we've seen all the other pieces. And how effing cool is that? Right down to the pawns with the swords. And they just hit you. If you're next to them, they don't have like a blast attack like... Well, I don't know if all of them otherwise do. But anyway, how fucking cool is this shit? Oh shit, I should have gone for it. How fucking cool is this fucking shit? Like, this is literally like a chess battle. And they thought of everything. Or everything. But they literally like integrated chess dynamics into how the fucking pieces not only fight against you, but interact with each other and move around the board. How cool is this fucking level? Ah. We should probably use air raid more. Let's get good with air raid, folks. Oh, you know what? I want to restart it so that we can watch the scene come into place before us. Oh, fuck. Does that mean I lose whatever I bought? Yeah, probably. Yep. But that means I get to pick something else. Firing speed increase. You know, ultimately, I don't think I am a big fan of this weapon now. Because, you know what? I think the big problem with it is that they tend to explode on the way to the target. And if that's not something I'm doing something to make happen, like pressing a button for or something to make it explode halfway there. If that's basically just it not reaching the target or like maybe even misfiring half the time, then I'm not a big fan of that weapon. It's just like, what? So if someone's like mildly far away from you, like it's just not gonna hit them, and half the time you don't. I don't know. Let's try this a little more. Okay. Now we get to see this come together before us, which is so cool. Oh, what does that say? Unsacred Hellgate or something? Yeah, now look, watch it. It's so cool. Oh, wait a second. Oh, here it goes, yeah. The sound effects, the way they integrate with the music, they all have a similar light, kind of shuddering, comforting tone to them. Really cool stuff. Now, I kind of wish they let us try this battle with the angel music, because that might have been maybe that's more of a boss fight type of thing, but that might have been cool. And this might as well be a fucking boss fight. This is awesome. This is great. Like, this is one of the best fights maybe in the whole series. We're looking at it, guys. This is it. This is fucking awesome. Is this any good? Can I get Air Raid level 2? Okay, it took out almost 2 of those enemies, and then I even was able to guitar the other one. You know, let's fucking try with this guitar. I don't know, though. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think I'm sort of neglecting, like, pressing triangle at the beginning of something. You know what, though? Given that we're not getting up in their grill, actually, this guitar is really helpful. Fuck. I'll take this fucking guitar. This is cool. Oh, what do we have now? Well, soon. Not now. We have air height. Oh, man. Right here. Okay. That didn't even fucking take out one guy? That looks like a bishop, but still, okay. Maybe air raid's not good. In this game, I think air raid's kind of been stifled because smothered, because that guy, like one kind of half regular enemy, he's not a boss. It doesn't take out one like sort of regular, relatively unimposing enemy to the other enemies on the field. I don't think that enemy was supposed to be that good. So basically what I'm saying is air raid kind of the equivalent of just doing this? Is that what it is? Or is it much better than this? Or this? Actually, maybe this is the best. Oh, I got health increase. Yeah, he might castle here. Look, he's about to fucking castle. Maybe not. You know what? Maybe this thing is good. Let's see how many shots it takes. This might take out that quicker than air raid did. I think it did. If we started him from near the beginning, I think that was quicker than air raid. So, you know what? This is what you can say about this bazooka. It's better than air raid. You don't even need Devil Trigger for it. I guess it is a late game item, but this is pretty fucking good. And now that we've compared them, I see that keeping the bazooka is a good idea. Because remember before, I was wondering I was wondering about the bazooka at all, basically. Okay. This bazooka is actually, it's sort of a good cheese item. You could literally just take out the entire board, standing there with the bazooka. It doesn't feel very mobile, unlike these, which do feel mobile. But boy, is it powerful. And the speed is now higher because I leveled it up. So this is good. I might just fucking... I think bazooka-ing with Devil Trigger actually... This is the best of all worlds because it does a shitload of damage and it does it way faster than the air raid. So you know what? Air raid fucking... We're done with air raid. Like... Not that I well, not that I'm like mad at air raid, but like I feel bad, but... we're done with air raid in terms of playing this game. I don't think air raid is that necessary. Or I don't think it's that useful compared to the bazooka. But here's the thing, it's not just that the bazooka is so powerful, it's that, as I was saying, air raid feels like it was nerfed. Air raid feels like it was suppressed. And so the bazooka is kind of powerful, and actually surprisingly so, especially when you have Devil Trigger going. But air raid really feels like just a lower powered than basically a non-Devil Trigger weapon is normally, or with the power-ups that I have for it. And the speed does increase the power in the sense that it does these things a lot faster. It takes care of an enemy a lot faster than air raid did. But yeah, look at how I fucking cleared this place out. I've mostly been bazookaing these enemies. This bazooka's good, and air raid has been way nerfed. And so I'd say on one level, this bazooka is surprisingly good. And on another level, air raid is surprisingly, disappointingly bad. And I'm kind of sad, because I liked air raid. I'd get excited to use Devil Trigger to then use fucking air raid. But now, it's like nothing. Look at this fucking shit. It's not that good. Ah, okay. Well, we're gonna do a lot better this time. Right now, like now we know the strategy. Just use the bazooka forever. Is it that? I think it's that, guys. I think it's that. Okay. Oh, at least we don't have to pay for the bazooka upgrade again. Because we did continue rather than restart. But of course, the sad thing is, this bridge is already built. Now, is that saying something echoing symbolically of the sense of, you know, the sense that, like, the sense of, like, spiritual or whatever, like, basically the sense of progress itself, and, like, you know, it's better to have, you know, you could say you might as well have the bridge, but it's a shame if the bridge is already there and you're just walking over a bridge that was already there, rather than a bridge that gets sort of made mystically before you, or in a certain sense, like, something that you seem to go through where a situation comes together before your eyes, rather than somebody saying, here's a bunch of money. It's like, I did all this stuff and now I have a bunch of money. Here's the bridge, or I'm seeing the bridge come together before my eyes. And isn't it beautiful? There. Air raid's not working. What the fuck is going on? Oh, I'm pressing square. I'm not pressing X. Or I'm pressing triangle, but either way. Yeah, I think that X is a new thing. For some reason, like, that X, just adding that X between the R1 and the square for the Thunderbolts, the purple ones. I want that purple Thunderbolts, yeah. That is just not the best. Or at least that is something where its inclusion, I think, is playing a role in my fucking it up. Operationally, if not causally. Probably more operationally than causally, because operationally, that's the thing I'm not pressing, you know? So, there it is. Okay. Do we see little shells falling, and do we hear their... Oh, yeah, we do. See those fucking shells falling? See the shells falling? That's what I'm talking about. That's the fucking... Those are the shells of the bullets. That's so crazy. Okay. Now, the thing to watch out for, and maybe I shouldn't have activated it if I played a role in that, thing to watch out for would be those lasers. Oh, maybe it's gonna hibernate until I hit it again. That might be. How cool are these fucking enemies? How awesome is this gameplay? it's not like maybe as fast or fluid as you would think, or as other games may just feel. Like, it doesn't feel that fast or fluid, but like when you put all the pieces together, like piece by piece, that workman-like attitude of just, you learn the skills and then you use them like one by one. This is really a one-by-one game, even if it may look kind of smooth when you're playing it well. It's really just move by move. You get into position, you do the move, you dodge the enemy's attacks. You dodge the enemy attacks. And the enemies, sometimes they hibernate and then you can't hit them. Some enemies you need to hit them with the gun or else they'll multiply when you hit/kill them. One of those things at least. You know, this enemy takes a lot more hits than some of those other ones do, and it's moving around in a different way. It just... The phantasmagoria of the gameplay is just astounding. It's really, like, a lot of shit going on. And it's so, like, cool with the sound effects. It looks a little dark and a little, you know, sullen. Like, it looks a little gray or something. It feels like a little depressing maybe to look at it. But when you're kind of getting into the gameplay and you're not like kind of flailing around and you know what you're doing, it actually comes together really, really well. And just fucking everything about it becomes like just awesome. I'd still say it still feels a little stilted. It could be smoother, but I don't even know if that's a bad thing. Oh, fuck. See, we died again, but I'm looking forward to playing that fight again because that's so fun. It's such a cool battlefield. It's such a cool concept. All the enemies are working so well together. That might be like the best fight in the entire series. I don't know. That's a cool fucking room. Top 5 Devil May Cry rooms total. Almost certainly top 3 Devil May Cry 3 rooms. Or top 5. Well, or top 3, really. Oh, shit. I was gonna say, let's hang out a little bit. Okay. Fine. And it was like, oh, the heavenly music, I could, like, take a little break now. No, we're in it. And if I pause, it's gonna be that energetic sort of, like, tense music. That high-tension atmosphere music. And it's like, am I gonna want to sit here listening to that? Do I want to overplay that shit? Or do I want it playing while I'm fighting? And then we'll take care of this shit now and we'll relax later. And we can still relax now. Just let go. Oh, boy. This is awesome. This game is fucking... You gotta put some time into it, maybe. It's sort of like a fighting game. If you put enough time into it, it becomes really fun. Just the gameplay itself becomes really fun. And what else are you looking for in a video game but fun gameplay? And this game, if you put enough time into it, the gameplay itself becomes really fun. Becomes really, really fun. It's sort of like even an RPG, especially on this level. It feels like a tactics strategy RPG or something, but like an action version of that. So you kind of feel like you're thinking strategically and like figuring out what weapons to use and whatever. And well, you kind of are. But it's in real time. And so, you know, it's all about the gameplay. And man, this is so fun. And it's like if you move to the right location, you can avoid his lightning or his laser attacks, which you can see coming and hear coming if you're paying attention and looking at him and hearing him. But you could also avoid them by jumping into the sky. So, like, there are so many different options for every situation, and there are so many situations that are presented with, like, almost every enemy, because often they'll have some kind of special ability or, like, special defense set up against you. And so it's like Doom Eternal, if Doom Eternal was actually, like, it felt really organic and it felt just really fun to go through all that complexity, rather than like they were just asking you and kind of demanding from you for specific answers. Yeah, see, we got to do it again, but I'm having a blast. I'm fucking having a blast. And now we can hang out in the Wonderland here. Your Anna. Hello. Hey, how you doing? Your Anna. Interesting name. Thanks for coming to the stream. Doing great. What about you? I am always different. I am always different. Oh. What do you mean by that? Sorry if I sound like I'm kind of interrogating you. Without getting into the whole story, like, I tend to be a little cautious about certain things. These days. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm doing fine. Although, yeah. Glad to hear that, to be honest. Oh, well, great. Where are you from? I don't know why, but like, it seems like the same person or just like different people have asked me that a lot online. After like 1,000 different accounts say where are you from, you start to feel like someone's trying to figure out your location, you know? So yeah, I'll say nay to that one. No, not at all. Yep. You don't have to tell me the location where you are living then. Okay, so, actually, you don't have to tell me either, but I'm interested. Where are you from? Like, originally. You don't, obviously you don't have to tell me, but just asking. Oh, shit. Yeah, air raid's pretty good, I guess. It's okay. Yeah, originally from Texas, you don't have to tell me the location where you are living then. I'm not sure I believe that you're originally from Texas. But, you know, I guess I don't have much of a way to prove it. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we should just do the Devil Trigger Bazooka. I don't know why. This is going to be a really easy fight if we just do this. And still fun, because you can always break out into another mode if you want. Of, you know, like fighting them with something else, doing something different. Okay. Anyways, can I follow your channel? Well, you know, nobody needs permission, so I suppose you could. I don't have the... Yeah, that was bad. That wasn't the... That wasn't great. At least now I'm sort of feeling the press X first. On a more consistent basis is something that I tend to be actually thinking about. Just asking. Just asking if you don't mind it, though. Followed you, by the way. I'll probably give you a better answer than you might even be expecting on that front. Obviously, I don't mind it. Like, obviously I like getting more followers. Just generally, probably better to have a higher number. Or you look better, whatever. But on the other hand, if it's someone who's being kind of like deceptive, I'm not saying that's this case, but if it like the case where I would prefer not to have a follower is if they're being like kind of deceptive, or certainly like if they're kind of like coming in under different usernames but they're the same person. Like that kind of situation, I'd actually prefer not to have followers like that, or just bots. I guess my real answer is I'd prefer to have followers who are real people, who are followers because they actually wanted to watch the channel rather than some other reason. We're doing good work with just the guns, actually. I know I say the bazooka, and we'll probably switch to that as well, but... And see, you only want to hit the ones in white, because I think the other ones are impervious and impermeable. I think I just realized something pretty good. So I think, like, this might be a fairly specific kind of thing, but it's not really specific because you can, you know, people swindle people just in general. Like, it's always good. Well, you know, it may be better than not, or it may be applicable sometimes for almost anyone to sort of have a cognizance of, you know, whether someone's sort of being upfront with them or not. Like, you know, it might be better to have more clarity about that rather than less. And so, a good rule of thumb, but I was thinking about it in the streamer context with, like, talking to viewers and stuff. I think sort of like a good metric where you can sort of, like, measure the likelihood, or at least what seems to be the likelihood of someone being, like, a real person. I would say A is, like, this is in the streamer context. But, and I guess I might be teaching some people how to seem more real by saying this, but I guess I'm also teaching the other people how to perhaps detect them anyway, because I don't think someone can act well enough to avoid this kind of analysis, which is, say they come onto your stream. Do they seem interested in the actual stream, A? The actual game, B? What you're doing in the game, C? Or what you're talking about, if it isn't part of those things, D? Or there may be other letters there, but like other metrics within the metric. But those being the sub-metrics, the main metric of those, the umbrella one, the parent one being, do they actually seem interested? Like, well, do they seem interested in, and then A, B, C, and D? And so, if the answer is no to all those things, then you might ask, like, okay, well, do they speak like a person, whether they seem interested in what's going on or not? Do they speak like a person where they would be a similar personality to me, or it seems like their personality type would be a type that would like to watch something that I was doing? Like, basically, it doesn't seem like their personality would want to interact with or spend time with someone saying something that you might be saying. And if the answer to all these things is no, if it doesn't seem like they're really interested in what's going on in the stream, what you're saying, and it also doesn't, and et cetera, and it also, and whatever other et ceteras there may be, and if it also doesn't seem like they're even the type of person who would be interested in talking with you, or like hearing what you have to say, like it just doesn't, from what they're saying and stuff, it just doesn't sound like they'd be interested, then it probably is, that's sort of a good kind of set of red flags to have, because then it's like, okay, so if they don't seem to be interested in what I'm doing here or what I'm saying, and they don't seem like the type of person who would really gel with me anyway, then why are they showing all this sudden interest in this stream? Or if you broaden it to just the rest of your life, why are they showing so much sudden interest in me in this context? Why all of a sudden are they showing a lot of interest in me when they don't seem to be interested in what I'm doing, and they don't seem like they would even really be particularly compatible with the way I'm behaving or what I'm thinking about, what I think, what I'm talking about, what I'm saying, what I'm doing. It doesn't seem like they'd be compatible with all that either. And yet, for some reason, they're really, like, pursuing you and, like, kind of trying to, like, get on your good side. It's like, what is their... I mean, this brings it to the obvious question, what is their objective here? But then it starts to sound paranoid, so I'd say leaving out that question and just looking at those metrics to make it sound better, maybe. Like, you can leave out that question, what is their objective here, although I think that is the underlying question, so that would be the helpful one. And it still be like, wait a second, it doesn't seem like they actually enjoy spending time with me or watching what I'm doing, and it doesn't seem like they really, like, they're actually, they actually want to. Like, they're actually getting anything out of it. Like, they actually... It doesn't seem like they want to be here in a certain way. And yet, they're kind of continuing to leave comments, and they're kind of continuing to say, like, ask you questions and stuff. But on various levels, it doesn't seem like they really want to be here. And so, I think that's probably a good rule of thumb, or a good way of thinking about it for me, because you get so many people coming to your stream and pretending to be, like, essentially pretending to be watching your stream, rather than, like, watching your reactions and pursuing something in a sense where they're not here to, like, watch the show, they're here to do something else. I guess they're still watching it either way, maybe. Unless maybe they're blind. Probably not, if they're typing. But yeah, so, you know, I think that probably would be a good way for me to think about it, so that I don't feel so gaslit or potentially gaslit all the time, but I'm still able to sort of say, like, basically, so I'm able to sort of say, like, yeah, like, this, that, and the other thing seem to indicate that this person isn't really interested in me nor the stream, and yet they're pushing pretty hard and talking to me kind of a lot. So what are they actually going on with? What's actually going here? What is actually happening? So yeah, that's a good. But I'd recommend that for your life as well. Just anyone who ends up watching this. If you're ever like wondering, probably I wouldn't say go. Well, I don't know, but it's probably like you'd be wondering first, similar to like somebody who comes on the stream. It's often when it seems to end up being a real person, like in retrospect, often the entire time they're speaking in a way where it feels like they're a real person. Whereas often when it seems to end up not being a real person, often the entire time they're speaking in a way that feels like that. So just in any situation where you're looking at things with these kinds of perceptual tools, maybe you would then, basically it's like, if you feel weird about a situation, these are maybe some questions that you could ask to help you discern whether somebody might be a danger to you or whether somebody might be trying to... You look like German. Okay, yep. So this is a good example of that. So somebody's on the stream and I'm having like a long discussion that's sort of, well, discussion, long dialogue. Well, not dialogue, a long monologue, which is what a stream is, unless you're talking to somebody. I'm having a long monologue, sort of, kind of implicatively referring to the person watching. And their next response to me is, "You look like German," which is not actually responding to what I'm saying, but indeed kind of throwing an insult at me. Maybe not an insult, I don't know. Like, it could just be a description, but in this context, I could see it as an insult, like, "Oh, you look like German," like, "Oh, you know, you sound kind of German with how, like, serious you're being about everything. Oh, you sound like German. You're a pretty intimidating guy, man. You're pretty threatening. You sound like a fucking German, right? What did the Germans do?" I don't know if that's what that meant. That might, I don't know. What I would say, this might be more likely, that I think there's some probability of that with this comment, but I think what might be more likely to have happened with it is that this person kind of was half listening, and they kind of were picking up what I was putting down, and I was kind of speaking about how it seems like they might not be a real viewer, and all the different angles of that. And so instead of responding to anything that I was saying, they just make a non sequitur statement about my appearance, which is totally disrespectful of what I am saying, because it's as if they didn't listen to any of it, and they're just like interjecting something. Oh, Matt, they can't interject? Not that they can't interject, but it seems like they're not really participating very much if I've been kind of on a passionate rant and all they do is say, "You look German." Like, it seems like something at least that would be said kind of teasingly and smilingly in this context where it's just a total non sequitur, full bore total non sequitur like that. Now, here's the thing. I think this person probably did pick up what I was putting down. They probably are a fake account. Maybe the same person who was harassing me yesterday with the Emily screen names and everything, or who seemed to be. I'm not guaranteeing that it was all one person, but two people came on the stream. Both of them had Emily in their name. Then another person came on the stream who had been talking to me from another stream, and they all kind of sounded the same. They all kind of sounded like they spoke in broken English, just like this person sounds. All of them speaking in broken English. Wow, that's kind of strange. Every person on the stream was speaking in broken English, and two of them had Emily in their name, and the other one was kind of saying things that sounded half mocking or kind of in the pattern of different people who have... I don't even know what their fucking objective is here. They used to say they're trying to sell me art. Now they don't even fucking say that anymore. It's like all these things are coming together. Everyone's speaking in broken English, and it all sounds like everyone's kind of laughing at you because they're kind of like responding to what you're saying in like kind of mocking ways. It's like, here's the thing. You might say, "Well, Matt, it's a group of real people who don't speak English very well, who are having fun at your expense because you appear to be like going crazy or something. You appear to be getting pissed off, so they're having fun at your expense. But they are all separate people." Then I would say, okay, so, and two of them happen to have Emily in their screen name. What, are they friends because they're Emily? Or is it just a big coincidence that two people, of the very few viewers on a given stream, or on most of the streams so far, two people on a given stream are named Emily, and they're talking at the same time as each other, and they happen to be like maybe. I think I may have gotten other Emilys in the past, so maybe there are a lot of Emilys, I don't know, but it just seems like it's a low probability that I'd get two people with Emily in their name, just like I think it's a low probability I'd get two people with Cressida, Cressida, very uncommon name, in their name on another stream where I called someone out for probably being a bot or some kind of weird scammer or stalker or something that I've got going on here situation. Like, this is a stalker at this point. And notice they said I'm back. Near the beginning, they said something like, I'm back again under a different name. In fact, before I ban... Oh, I did ban them. Okay, I guess I can't see their chats anymore. So I could go back and watch it. They said, like, I'm back again under a fucking different name or something. I don't know if they actually said that. One of their things sounded like that. Whatever they said. Basically, it's like, this person clearly doesn't speak very good English, and that's fine, whatever. I've had people who didn't speak very good English seem to actually watch the stream and enjoy it and seem to be real people before. So that's not what I'm criticizing here. But I'm describing... basically... that they, as a viewer of this stream, a stream where most of it has been someone speaking English in a fairly complex way, I bet somebody who didn't know very much English or speak it very well, I bet I would be one of the more difficult people to follow, because I think I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but just as a descriptive measure, what I'm saying is I think I speak probably using at least more diction than a lot of people would. So this probably isn't like your beginner English kind of stream. It might be like a helpful stream if you don't quite know English, because sometimes I even talk about the language. It might actually, ironically, it might be a helpful stream to watch if you're learning English. But I don't think it's a stream somebody would be that interested in if they didn't know English that well, because it'd probably be a difficult stream to follow. And then, especially if I'm talking about all this shit, and they go for like 5-8 minutes without saying anything, and I'm basically wondering out loud if they are a real person or not. They go for like 5 to 8 minutes without saying anything, and then they, perhaps tauntingly, perhaps not, say out of nowhere, "You look like German," which is more bad English. "You look like German." Or someone pretend, that's almost like mockingly bad English, where it's like someone who speaks good English could say that to pretend, like basically to make fun of someone who doesn't speak good English. "Oh, you look like German." Imagine that was some kind of like, you know, racist accent. Somebody could be really offensive saying something like that, and that's how bad the English is. So if that's actually this person's usage of English and they're not trying to be funny about it, "You look like German" is such bad English that it's like, wow, like how could they even follow my sentences? I'm not trying to say my sentences are great necessarily. What I am saying is I think they're fairly complicated, and they're fairly, like, I'm talking sort of about theoretical things and not necessarily pointing to things that you can visually see in the stream to talk about them. So they kind of have to just know the words themselves. And I don't even know if it'd be easy to pick up the words if they did know them, because I'm probably speaking fairly fast for someone who doesn't know English to follow, and I might not be pronouncing everything in such a clear way either, although I think I probably am in some way, but I might not be pronouncing everything so clearly, or it might be going by so fast that even if they kind of knew the word, they might not pick it out. And so this type of person who's barely speaking English at all is... Or pretending to speak bad English. They may be pretending, and if they are, "You look like German." If they're pretending to speak bad English, then either they're making some kind of accent joke, pretending to be a bad English speaker because they think that's funny, or they're like pretending to be someone else who speaks bad English and deceiving me. So either way, like, the bad English says something about how unlikely it seems that they are to be listening to or following or very interested in what I'm saying at all. The latter cases being because if they were deceiving me about who they were, it doesn't seem like they really are interested in what I'm saying, because why would somebody come on wanting to hear what I said and then be deceiving me? It's like, unless they had some ulterior motive that they were kind of researching me for. But anyway, leaving aside all that, after everything I said, this person shows exactly what I was talking about, shows zero interest in the stream, and with how many people like this speak in bad English, or maybe the same person every time, they also totally match the profile of exactly the kind of people who have been either fucking with me or trying to market to me or something on the stream. Even the name matches, like, the usual naming conventions of those profiles. And so, ultimately, you have the perfect fucking example, the perfect one-sentence fucking way of almost clinching, almost to 100% the probability that this person is here to fuck with me. And I don't know why that is, but it looks like I've got a fucking stalker. And if somebody else, before this stream is over, if somebody else comes in under a different name with a similar naming style, perhaps they'll even, you know, make a new account and do that just right now because I'm saying this. But someone comes onto the stream with a different name, but perhaps a similar naming style, and speaks in a very similar way to this person, later on in the stream, it may be a real person, or I think potentially it might be the same person coming back under either another screen name they have or another one they just made. And I'll if another person comes on, I'll check like when it says they've been on Twitch since. And if it's like today, especially if it was just made today and they're speaking the same way, it's like that's probably the same person under a different account fucking stalking me. And it's like I use that sort of for the connotations of it. And partially because it kind of is true. It's like, I guess this would be an internet stalker. And the funniest thing of all is that I literally am probably the only person anyone is likely to ever hear who has a cyber stalking felony, which from what I can tell, I guess they gave it to me just as like a synonym for the other felony of like just sending somebody angry emails, or it was because I accessed this person's public webpage. This public webpage, you didn't need a password. It was right there. You look them up on Google, look up their name, click on maybe the first search result, and their email is right there. And maybe they considered that cyber stalking. But wouldn't it be... And then I sent them some emails, and then one day, and that was it. Never sent them another email again. Now, if... maybe that's what they consider cyber stalking, but wouldn't it be sort of funny? Isn't it kind of funny if somebody's actually cyber stalking me and coming to my streams under different usernames to fuck with me or to get some information because they're always asking where I'm from, as I said when they asked that or around that time? Yeah. Now that the explanation is given, we can remove Exhibit A. Oh, created April 19, 2024. Okay. Something 16 minutes ago. Probably banned 16 minutes ago. Okay. So that one's been around since April of last year. So that is something. That would be evidence against the probability, likelihood, or possible situation that this would be the same person. Because how many accounts from last year could one person have access to? Maybe, like, realistically, unless there's something they're fucking with in the system that makes it look older, and maybe bots do that, that would probably help disguise them as bots to make them look like they were created much longer ago than, like, today. Or all at the same time, you know, because Twitch could probably figure out who's a bot if, like, a lot of usernames are created simultaneously from one IP address. Like, they could probably say, oh, that's bot behavior. We're actually going to, like, do an inquiry into this so that we don't have a bunch of bots running around. And they actually sent me a thank you message for, like, one of the... probably every time that they said, we've actioned on your report. But they sent me, like... They said thank you for making Twitch, like, a safer and more friendly place or something, which is nice. Or something like that. Feels a little Orwellian, but still, it was kind of nice. For me, like, reporting one of the probably one of the sales bots, because those ones, they're literally advertising Stream Boo in their comment, so that would be a quick verification. Whereas I've reported other people to Twitch, and they haven't sent me, like, we've actioned on it. They've just said they've sent me the confirmation that I reported them. At this point, I can look up how many times I've reported people, because there have been a lot of fucking marketers leaving Streamboo comments, like, check out streamboo.com for more viewers, and they slightly alter the .com, like, they put a space in there so that Twitch doesn't realize it automatically, I guess. But yeah, you know, these, I've reported a decent amount of people now. Yeah. The main person who hits me is this knight piece. He's the one who I think hits me the most. Second most would probably be the laser guy. Or maybe laser guy the most, knight the second most. Maybe third most, that bishop guy. Or just the pawns, because there are so many of them. But basically, if I watch out for just the laser guy and the horse guy a little more, I should probably reduce the amount of damage I take by quite a large percentage. Okay. Bazooka time, because this is actually like a special move that you can use anytime in terms of its damage. Actually, it's even better when you fucking have special on, Devil Trigger. Oh fuck, not that guy, not that guy. How about that guy though? Yeah, you know what? Let's take out, how about we take out the problem people? All right, let's, I'm saying that in this game. I meant that specifically and exclusively to this game actually. But yeah, how about we take out the problem chess pieces here, literally, in some way. Except we're not actually playing chess, but it is on a board, and they do move somewhat like chess pieces in various ways, including castling with the king and the rook-shaped and moving pieces. Or the rook ones, they send out, like, a rook-shaped attack. They send out the rook-shaped laser attack that goes, like, you know, left and right. Or are those the bishops? No, I think those are the ones that castled with the king, I think. So, I think those should be the rooks. But maybe they do... So maybe that's how I can tell where to dodge. All I have to do is stand diagonal to them on the chessboard. Yeah, wait a second. That's a rook. Yeah, okay. He was going up and down, left and right on the chessboard, like the rook's move in actual chess. Yep, with his lasers. Okay. And that's, you know, a rook can move the entire y-axis that's available to it, that's not blocked or something, maybe, or the entire x-axis. And if you are on that y or x-axis with it, or get on that x or y-axis with it, and there's nothing between it and you, it can hit you, just like the lasers. Love it. Okay. Okay. That made it easier. Now this will protect us. If we take out the rooks, basically the entire match is way easier. Yeah, these fucking rooks, these are the worst. Oh, how many rooks are there? They have more than 2 rooks, shit. Are they, they're not respawning, are they? Fuck. Good. Oh, there's health. There's health. Yep. Oh, shit. Don't get hit by the lasers. You know, the modus operandi right now, don't get hit. That's it. Don't get hit. How simple is that? And, you know, attack when you can, but don't get hit is like the primary macro. Or gambit if you're talking about FF12 with it. Okay. Oh! Oh, shit. Damn it, that happened again with the horse head. Yeah. There you go, that's the knight, or the horse. Heh, right? And it's like the rook or the tower or castle, and that looks somewhat tower or castle-y. It does sort of look like the shape. Maybe it looks like the shape of this castle. Look at that. Is that sort of the shape of like a structure we've seen in this game? I don't know. That would be a cool like little detail. Sort of echoes of the design in the castle pieces. And in that case, are all of these echoing some enemy in the game? I don't know about that. Because the horse, I don't know if there's a horse enemy. I think it's more about echoing the chess pieces. Oh shit, okay. Aw, man, come on. I wasted that whole fucking thing. Darn it. At least I got whatever health back I did. Oh, there we go. Health. Nope. I did the bad thing. You don't want to get next to the knights. You do want to get next to these diagonally, though. You don't want to get next to the knights, but just like in chess, you want to get close to these diagonally. Or at least you're relatively safe doing so. See that? And they telegraph the attacks, so if you're paying attention, you can usually escape. Maybe always. I don't know. Does it give you enough time to always get out of whatever you're doing and escape? That'd be interesting. You could fucking test that out. You could literally test that out. Oh, shit. Oh. There we go. Oh, that was the right one. Huh. That was the fucking right one. Yeah, we did have these enemies before. There's a part in the game where you're going through all these, like, tiny hallways connecting, like, little egg-shaped chambers or whatever. Basically, like, these chambers with, like, connections and of some sort or something or whatever. And anyway, you're going through there, and, like, there are a lot of these chess piece enemies, except I think whereas you've seen them maybe earlier in the game in, like, one or more forms, like, you're seeing way more forms now than you ever had before. And that wasn't like a chessboard. That was like, although I guess it was sort of like room connected with room, connected with room, connected with room in some way. So it kind of was sort of being on each separate space of a chessboard. Oh, shit. Hey, here we go. Wow, we're leaving the king till the end, motherfucker. Okay. This will take him out. Probably right away. Oh, shit. And he's trying to get next to us so he can attack us. See that? He's slowly moving down the board to us. Can we just run away from him? Let's see. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, Whip. Come on, man. Oh, look at that. That's how I can raise my devil trigger. Oh, can I? No. It seemed to do it. Oh, it kind of helped. Yeah, look. I think it kind of helped. But you have to maybe let it finish. Look at this. I don't know. Maybe the devil trigger's just filling up normally. Whatever. Aw. Oh, I didn't get hit because of fucking devil trigger. No, no, jump, no, oh. Darn it, I was trying to do the air raid. Whatever. Yeah, this guy's super easy from a distance. Look at that. I just want to beat him like this because I can. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Okay, now we zap back. What a cool fight, man. I know that I was pausing a lot and stuff, but that's like an epic little fight. Even if you weren't pausing and stuff, that would probably take around like 5-10 minutes. I don't know, maybe that's low or high. But boy, is that a fucking cool fight. And look at what we're doing. We're almost like totally circumscribing the square here. Oh my god, actually this is like almost the perfect path. Okay. To circumscribe this square of 4 squares. See that? See that? Angle, 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 and actually, angle. Maybe if I look at the different squares, it'll be circumscribed in something else. No, I don't. Like another set of them. I don't. Whatever. Optical. Illusions, patterns, whatever. Okay, cool. Yeah, now, look, now we're on the same platform, but we have a different perspective. And these beautiful heavenly angels float over. And they don't even play the battle music. They're just playing the angel music, the astral music. Heavens, cloud dust. Oh. But yeah, ask yourself, in the future maybe, if it seems, usually, I think you might not want to be thinking about, like, I don't know. Well, I would say actually, I once was talking to a friend on the phone, I think, or maybe on text, and I said to him, like, I said to him something about, like, oh, like, you know, just basically, and I had sort of, I think I had gotten this either partially or maybe, like, I had heard it just totally, basically, I may have arrived at it in the first place in, like, a meditation-based book or a spiritual book or something, but it was basically, like, everything that you think, or it's not everything that you think. I think that was more of the practice. Like, everything you think, you can ask yourself, is it true? I think that might have been Adyashanti, maybe even Gangaji or something. Something kind of non-dual and self-inquiry like. Maybe it could have been even Rhonda Byrne a little bit. No, not back then. I don't think it would have been. Yeah, I don't think it was Rhonda. She's the secret. She does the secret. By the way, one of the all-time, like, weirdest last names for a person. I'm not saying yay or nay about Rhonda, but she said, like, she was involved in some, like, she says in an interview, it's with, like, a woman who, like, interviews other, like, various people. I think she's, like, wait, Danica Patrick. I think in a Danica Patrick interview, Rhonda Byrne says that she was involved in, like, an Order of the Rose Cross, which is Rosicrucianism, I guess. Although she puts it as Rose Cross, I don't think she says Rosicrucianism. And she talks about it as, like, sort of a mystical, almost like a mystery school that she's kind of being helped out by or whatever. She's had some, like, relationship with, like, or she had, like, a teacher, like, associated with this. Anyway, yeah, Rhonda Byrne, very interesting. Because what's her last name? Byrne. And what do people associate, like, getting into New Age stuff with? They associate it with hellfire, damnation. So if it's Rhonda Byrne, and if there's, like, if there's literally, like, a letter seal on the cover of The Secret, the book, and the movie, and the movie actually came first. That's similar to, like, Johnny Cash, who did Hurt. It's like, no, Johnny Cash did a cover of the Nine Inch Nails song Hurt. But it's bizarre. It sort of sounds like it could have been maybe. I'm not an expert on Johnny Cash, but especially in his voice, it seems like it isn't necessarily him doing something he wouldn't have written, but he didn't write it. They did, and this is kind of similar with The Secret, because I think many people might think it was a book first, and it's like, no, it was a movie, and then I think it was almost like 2001: A Space Odyssey in some way, where, like, the book is kind of an offshoot of the movie, and the book literally has more information than the movie, and I think maybe it literally has literally everything in the movie, or at least a decent amount of the quotes from it as quotes in the book, or just written in the book maybe. So, like, the book might be just sort of like a super bonus extended transcript version of the movie or something, which is, it's really helpful, but I think a lot of people think the book came first, and it's like, no, I think the movie did. And with 2001: A Space Odyssey as well, I think a lot of people say, like, the movie was based on the book, or the book came first or something, and it's like, no, apparently Arthur C. Clarke was writing the book adaptation of the movie while the movie was being made, but, like, I think it was supposed to be an adaptation, not even necessarily like a co-venture. But in any case, like, Stanley Kubrick had the authority and the power to tell him or not to tell him what was happening in the movie or what they were shooting. And I think basically the book might have basically been written exclusively based on just finished scenes that Kubrick would then send to Arthur C. Clarke. And so the movie probably came out first, but in any case, the book was different from, apparently, like, where C. Clarke just filled stuff in or had other things to put in there, maybe, I don't know. But I think the book is actually, well, yeah, in any case, yeah, the book. The movie actually came before the book, yeah. And that is similar, somewhat similar but different, but also Kubrick related. In The Shining, in the movie, one of the most famous scenes in the movie is just this gorgeous, striking image of this hedge maze in the snow. And Danny, the little psychic boy, is being chased by his axe-wielding, deranged father through this blizzard in this never-ending hedge maze. And earlier in the movie, you see Danny and his mother walking through it, but now it's snowing. It was like, it wasn't winter yet then, but they are the winter care people. His father is the winter caretaker of the establishment business. And so now they're walking through the snow, whereas before they were walking not through the snow, and it's like the dead of night, and it's really fucking cold. And they said you could, earlier in the movie, I think they said something about how, like, you could potentially get lost for hours in that hedge maze. And so, essentially, though, like, that hedge maze is such a great part of that movie. It's just fucking perfect. And in the original book, as far as the story goes, the original book was the source. This book was the source material for the movie. Now, I don't know how connected Stephen King might be with Kubrick in some back alleyway in terms of, like, you know, I don't know. Maybe somebody put Stephen King up to it to write The Shining, and so maybe on some way Kubrick was supposed to be the guy who made the movie of that story that they had Stephen King write. I don't know how it works. I'm not saying that is the case, but I am saying that it seems like there are connections higher up, and it seems like different messages are pushed sometimes. And you're not going to find a bigger writer than Stephen King, or a more acclaimed film director, really, probably, possibly, than Stanley Kubrick. So, it's funny, though, because the book is supposedly the source material for the movie, and the book doesn't have the hedge maze. No, the book has hedge animals, and they are kind of creepy, like, they kind of work, but especially with reference to the movie, they feel like the shitty alternative version, the shitty alternate version that they did to change something from the source material. Like, it feels like the hedge maze was really, on some level, the original idea. And given that Stephen King, not Stanley Kubrick, given that Stephen King often describes writing as, like, digging up fossils in the ground, I think he might kind of vibe with me. Not necessarily that this was the way it is, but he might kind of vibe on some level, in some circumstances anyway, if not this one, with the idea that maybe the hedge maze was the true form of what the hedges should have been in the story The Shining, and Stephen King didn't dig up that fossil, or dig up that part of the fossil in the right way, and so it ended up being hedge animals, whereas actually the original archetypal and really powerful, meaningful, kind of like just zaps you to the core message of a hedge maze in the snow, where the father basically, you know, in some way might get lost when he's pursuing his son through a fucking blizzard. That kind of archetypal majesty, that power, that powerful image, that seems like it might be the original one. And somehow, even though Stephen King apparently or supposedly wrote the book first, and then they made the movie based on the book having been out and being already here or being already there, that book was actually the version of it that in whatever way didn't fulfill the original idea, whereas the original idea was not the hedge animals, no, it was the hedge maze. I'm not saying that is the case, but, like, I think King might vibe with the idea that, hey, maybe you dug up a lot of the skeleton of The Shining, but that was a part you fucked up on, and perhaps in some way the same skeleton was somehow there. I don't know what King might think about that, but perhaps in some way the skeleton was somehow there and shared, and when Stanley Kubrick adapted it, he excavated that part of the skeleton, or brushed it off and used finer tools to bring more of it successfully out to the screen, rather than what Stephen King did to the page. So, okay. All right. Hey, we beat that part. For a second, it was like, oh, are we gonna retry the chess match? Like, are we going to try to beat it this time? And then it's like, oh, wait, no. Huh. It's like realizing you already did your book report. Huh. Oh, thank God. Except it was a book report that you had a lot of fun with and, you know, looked forward to restarting every time you had to restart it. But you're still glad and relieved and satisfied, or at least you're mostly more relieved, really, that the book report actually it's already done. And maybe that is the case with your spiritual development. Or I don't know if development is even the word, because maybe you're already whatever, you know, you're already whatever, and really you just want to let go the rest of the way to let go of the distortions that seem to be affecting your perception of that. Because perhaps not even affecting the reality, just simply affecting your perception of it. So either way, the book report is done, but you may not realize that it's done. But once you do, you're like, oh, thank God.